my name is Molly, and today we're here to talk about Teen Wolf Season 6, Episode 15. So, this is one of the best episodes that has aired for 6B so far. I really loved it. It kept me on the edge of my seat. I was screaming at the TV. I was crying. It was just, normal things that you want from every Teen Wolf episode. So, it's really exciting to have that feeling back and to really enjoy the episode. I highly recommend going to watch it, but if you haven't yet, I'm gonna say goodbye to you now because I don't want to spoil you guys, so goodbye! Okay, so, episode 15. Theo is back! He's okay, he's not dead. It was so exciting. I don't understand if he was attacked by hunters, why they didn't shoot him up with Wolfsbane, but I'm not gonna question the gift that we were given because I freaking love Theo so much. These past two episodes, like 15 and 16, made me really love Theo, and I've always liked him as a character, and I've always liked him as a villain and everything, but I've really come to love him as, just a character in general, and so it's really exciting to be able to see him these past few episodes. A side note about Theo, other than him being such a badass during that scene where he's antagonizing that guy, and then he breaks free and gets them all out of there, that was amazing. But, a side note to that, why aren't Theo's eyes blue? Is it because he's not a, made or born werewolf, he was made in a lab? So is that why? Because he's killed innocent people, I'm pretty sure. So, how, or has he not? I don't even know. I think he has. Yeah, he killed his sister, but he wasn't a werewolf. I don't really know, but I feel like Theo should have blue eyes and he doesn't, and it was kind of weirding me out. So he gets out and he says something about Scott, and the two werewolves that he's with start, turn around, they're Scott McCall, and they get so excited, and I forget that this group is a legend in the supernatural world, because, they're just my babies to me. So, in the supernatural world, they're a really big deal, so they got really excited, and I found it really funny. The blonde werewolf that was played by Dylan Sparberry's sister really reminded me a lot of Cora. Some of the things that she said and just the way she acted, I felt like I was watching Cora. Deaton is also back in this episode. I was so excited. I love Deaton to death. He's amazing. I didn't really understand his opening scene where he goes into Eichen House and he's creeping down the hallway and he gets really scared, and I was why are you scared? There's no fear monster, why are you scared? And cause there was no fear monster, so what was making him so scared? The other guard was nobody's made it past 30 seconds or whatever. Is it a test? I was so confused. The sheriff shows up, Stilinski shows up, and he arrests Theo and the two werewolves that Theo is with because they murdered somebody. How do you know it's them? Where did that come from? Our whole pack is in there arguing with Stilinski about taking these werewolves and keeping them safe, and he's no, we have to do this, and Lydia goes, would Styles think that? And I got so excited for them just saying Styles' name, which is unhealthy, but I got so excited. I was Lydia said Styles! Lydia said Styles! The new werewolf, Quinn, I think is her name, is telling the sheriff the story about how a deputy shot her. And we all know it's a deputy, but Lyndon doesn't know that for sure. So Lyndon starts talking and he's well, there's some holes in her story. And Lydia's there's some holes in her story? There was a hole in her head. And Malia started laughing, and I was laughing, and then Malia was sorry. And it was really funny. So, the hunters end up surrounding the sheriff's department, and the sheriff goes out, and he's I'm assuming you all have permits for these weapons? That was a great line. Good job, Sheriff. Good job. And then he's talking to the guidance counselor, and he's thought you were a guidance counselor. What are you, a geology teacher now? I was please, this is so good. These lines. So, I talked about last episode talk how I have somebody picked out for Liam. It's Theo. I totally ship Theo right now. And my friend and I were watching the episode and we were texting and everything, and she was I think I ship Theo. And I was I think I do too. And we were just kind of I guess we ship them now. But as I've, come to terms with the fact that I do ship them, now that I've been watching them and seeing their scenes, I'm they're in love. It's obvious. That scene when Theo pulls Liam into that room and they talk and then Liam punches him and is like, I'm still working on my anger. And Theo's like, good to know. It was so good. It was so funny. And I love their relationship so much. And even if they don't end up together, I really, really want to see all of their friendship because it's so freaking funny. Another funny line that Stilinski had this episode was when the hunter shot an arrow through the window and he was like, they said until midnight, and he goes like storming outside. I was like, oh, Sheriff. On that arrow that they shot in the window was Brett's number with blood all over it, and Liam starts freaking out, and Theo was like, they're trying to rattle us, and it's working, and I was like, that Theo connection, but also like, oh god, what is Liam gonna do? While we're dealing with the chaos of the hunters surrounding the building and the chaos of those other werewolves being arrested for murder, the deputies start killing themselves. Awesome. That's exactly what we need right now. So, you know, the deputies get really, really scared because the fear monster's in the room with them, and so they end up killing themselves. And, you know, that connection, I formed a little connection there with the fear monster and the hunters, because does it just happen to work out that the hunters are trying to rattle them and trying to distract them so they can get in, and then they do get rattled and they do get distracted? Like, I feel like there's too much of a connection there for none of the hunters to be working with the fear monster. I'm not saying it's like all the hunters, but like Gerard or Monroe working with them, I wouldn't put it past either of them. With Deaton being back, he went into the Eichen house and he got that piece of rock that I guess he knew was there, and I guess that's why he went in to get it. But it only has half a drawing. He shows Mason and Corey, I don't know who else was there, but Corey was there definitely, and Corey was like, would the other half of the face help? And then he starts drawing it. And then, as soon as Corey finishes the drawing, Deaton's like, I know who it is. And I was like, this is why we needed Deaton back, because he always knows. He always knows who it is. He always knows what it is. He's very helpful. And it's called Two-Faced, and it's this thing that causes fear, and then if the two faces meet, like, it's gonna be catastrophic. And I was like, my first thought was Gerard is the other face. So we have the faceless corpse and Gerard. And if they meet, then we're screwed. And then I was like, maybe it's Monroe. But I don't know. I don't know who it's gonna be. I feel like it has to be one of the hunters because I feel like we do have to have that connection. But if it's not, what if it's one of our family? What if it's one of our teenagers? Because, like, no, it's okay. It can't be. We're dealing with the issues of the hunters surrounding us, and they come up with this good idea to bring out the two deputies that killed themselves in body bags and say, these are the two werewolves. And then the other people ask, oh, well, so where's their tattoos? And I was like, why didn't you think of that? You should have known. You could, like, it was, you should have known they wanted proof. You could have just drawn on circles. It's not that hard. I was like, damn it, you were so close. But then Scott's dad shows up, who I knew he was coming back, but then I forgot. So when he showed up, I was like, ugh! And he came back, and I was like, whoa, wait a second, what are you doing here, buddy? And he's here, and he cuts a deal with the hunters, which I didn't really understand how he cut that deal, because, like, why do they care what the FBI thinks of them? But whatever. So he cuts this deal that if all of our supernatural gang leave Beacon Hills, the hunters will stop chasing them. And I was like, do we really think that's gonna work for any of them? But I guess, you know, for the moment it did. So we get this really cool shot of them all walking out, but it was also really depressing because then they were all gonna leave. So, you know, we get all these goodbye scenes where Scalia's like kind of arguing about it, and then Corey goes to Mason, and Mason's really upset because he's the human in the pack. So he's staying behind. He doesn't have to leave. So he's going to be all alone. And it's really depressing. And Corey's saying goodbye to him, and he's like, just let me protect you. And he leaves. There was no kiss. And I was like, this is a bad goodbye. This is not a goodbye. I was like, no. Then the two werewolves that we did get out were killed. And I feel like we should have expected this because, you know, Gerard has men everywhere, but we didn't. So the two werewolves are killed, and it was really, really sad because I was like, they almost got out. And then we get the scene where Scott is like, what'd you think we were gonna do? Run? And I was just like, my heart. I love that scene. If you guys watched any of my trailer reactions for Teen Wolf, if you watched that trailer reaction, I was dying when he said that because I think it's just so amazing. What did you think we were gonna do? Run? Like, that's the way he says it, and just the truth behind this. I love it. I love it so much. So those are my thoughts on the episode. Let me know what you guys thought of the episode, any of your theories, if you agree with any of my theories, and if you just, want to talk about Teen Wolf, I'm here. If you're interested in Supernatural, Riverdale, Shadowhunters, or any books, make sure to subscribe because I upload new content for those every week. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I try to upload a video every week. If you like my videos, then subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!